Yo, I'm Brendan. Today I want to talk to you about these kind of offers we get in the mail, claiming that we'll get 3% rewards on other credit cards when Robinhood also just came out with their 3% rewards credit card. Ally just sent me this in the mail, and I've dug into the details here to find out if all 3% rewards credit cards are created equal or not. Then I'll show you the exact card that I've been using for the last 6 months because I didn't have these other two options before now, so I'll reveal what that is and why I use that card. You've probably gotten these kind of things in the mail before. You're pre-approved, no annual fee, 3% unlimited rewards. It looks really awesome. Why would we not jump on something like this over something like the Robinhood card? Here are all the specs that are promised to us in terms of rewards. And right off the bat, it's pretty attractive. 3% rewards in some places, 1% elsewhere, unlimited cash back, zero fraud protection. It looks pretty good. And for some of us, maybe the back of the card is actually the more appealing part, which is get a decision in 60 seconds. I mean, it says I'm pre-approved already. So to a degree, this is a much quicker process to get through than it would be for the Robinhood card because as of right now, it's not even out yet. So I can't even get the thing, let alone be approved in 60 seconds. If for some reason I need to suddenly get a hold of a bunch more credit, this would be a much faster way for me personally. The first thing we should address with this offer letter is the elephant in the room, which is the 3% claims. What Ally Bank says for their Ally Everyday Cashback MasterCard is 3% cashback in big bold font everywhere. But whenever we look at this up a little bit closer, it says it's only 3% cashback on a few categories. Thankfully, they're not rotating categories because I think that's super annoying and I hate when credit card companies do that. But in this case, it's only on gas stations, grocery stores, and drugstore purchases. I'm glad grocery stores are in there because otherwise this would not be a very appealing offer at all. If you remember to use this for all of your grocery shopping, all of your gas shopping, anytime you went to a drugstore, it could add up. But if you use it for anything outside of that, it's only a 1% cash back on everything else. I feel like if I had this card, I would literally put a piece of like duct tape or masking tape on here and write gas station, grocery store, drugstore, just so I remember which card is which, because I'd want to maximize the rewards and there's no point in getting less rewards if you've got something else that does more than 1%. One good thing about these rewards though is that it's unlimited cash back with no expiration dates. And whenever I review the Robinhood Gold Card rewards program rules, I don't see anything really specific about a point expiration date or a limit or whatever like that, but they say left and right in here that they have the ability to change whatever they want whenever they want. And that includes their option to impose caps and or fees on earning and or using points. So that's one of the tricky things for us if we plan on using the Robinhood Gold credit card, which I do, as long as the terms remain what they are. It seems like the common practice nowadays is to roll out a really attractive offer in the beginning and then make it less and less awesome over time. And I see that with fintech companies. I see that with other software companies. It just seems like it's kind of the norm nowadays. Without a crystal ball, we can't know what Robinhood's going to do in the future, but I would bet that right now this is the most attractive the credit card's ever going to be. The other features on this snazzy little card for the Ally MasterCard is that you get no surprise fees, so no over the limit fees, no returned payment fees, no foreign transaction fees, and no interest rate hikes for making a late payment. Now, all that's fine and dandy. Hopefully, you're not doing any of that stuff anyway. Well, you could do foreign transactions if you go on a trip, but this isn't something that we're going to be encountering all the time, I would hope. If we've got to choose a credit card based on just the fees, that's very suboptimal. And then, as is pretty common with most credit cards, zero fraud liability in case your card is lost or stolen. Seems pretty decent, but we need to get into more of the specifics. One distinct offer here that they're offering that Robinhood is not is their lowest intro APR. And so I could have a 0% APR on both purchases and any balance transfers for the first 15 months. That could be handy if you know for a fact that you'll be able to pay it off before then. I realize that's a gamble for us and we don't want to get hit with this 22.99% interest after that. It's a risky thing to make those kind of promises to yourself because if you can't follow through with it, then that's going to really suck for you and your financial situation. But if you know that you can for sure kind of span that gap and you just need sort of a short-term 0% loan, that's a pretty sweet deal. And that's definitely a feature that I think Robinhood needs to add to their credit card if they want to attract the most people. If you're not already familiar with the Robinhood card, the big difference between this offer with the MasterCard from Ally Bank and the Robinhood card is that Robinhood is claiming that we're going to get 3% cash back or 3% rewards points across the board. Every category, no matter what, it's 3%. And that's the minimum because if you book travel through the Robinhood travel portal, you'll earn 5 points for every dollar. And then whenever we look on this screen about how we redeem points, if you redeem for cash back, it's a penny per point. If you redeem for travel, it's a penny per point. If you shop with points, like you go through the app and you go to a third-party merchant, like you're going to buy some Under Armour underwear, it's a penny per point. Even redeeming for gift cards is a penny per point. So if I needed to get an extra Axe or maybe go somewhere that sells burritos, then I could do that and redeem those points through the Robinhood app. And so I like that offer. It's very clean. It's very clear. I like the consistency of it because I can sort of plan on that and I don't have to think through like which card is for which. How do I organize this in my wallet? Do I get some frickin' masking tape and put it on there? Just seems like a waste of time to have to go through all those hoops. So I like the simplicity of the Robinhood offer. As much as I like Robinhood and all the changes they've been adding lately with the option to match a transfer from an IRA, with giving us a 3% match on contributions to our IRA, with rolling out a little hint on their website earlier that anything that we contribute to our brokerage account would be matched 1%, with adding this credit card, like they're just destroying the competition in terms of added features right now, which is really great. I still don't trust them 100%. It's still Robinhood. Do we remember Robinhood from the last 5 years? They've done some things that are not trustworthy. I don't think people need to participate in short squeezes, but their activities during that time frame were pretty sketchy. The way that they designed their app initially was pretty sketchy. They are obviously here to profit off of us, and they're going to do whatever it takes to have us make as many transactions as possible so they make as much money as possible. And when we use Robinhood, it's not about us. It's about them, clearly. So we have to be ready to cover our own butts in this case. Maybe this is a standard term and condition for all credit card rewards programs, and maybe I'm reading more into it than I need to because we're talking about Robinhood here, but it says that they can revise any of these card reward program rules at any time with or without notice. And they could terminate the whole reward program within 45 days if they wanted to. So the way that I view the Robinhood card in general is sort of a blip on the radar of a financial life. I don't see this as a long-term play that you're going to count on for the next, heck, even 5 years. I would be surprised if this stays the same for 3 years. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's me being too pessimistic, and you can be confident that 3 years from now in April of 2027 that everything will be great and the rewards will only get better. And hopefully you'll be right and I'll be wrong in that case. But I just still don't trust Robinhood enough to really plan on that. So what I'm going to do is probably use the card as much as I can for as long as I can. And then when the deal sours, chuck it in the drawer with the rest of the cards and forget about it. So what about this little paper that we all know and hate? Whenever you get something in the mail and it's got one of these in there, you're like, ugh, just a big blob of text. Do I really want to get into this? I got into it for you so you don't have to. The takeaways that I get from this Ally Bank card are, again, the 0% APR for 15 months. That's pretty interesting. 0% APR for balance transfers for 15 months. No annual fee whatsoever, which is a little bit complicated with the Robinhood one because people can argue that there really is an annual fee. Technically, there's not. Whenever we look at their little terms and conditions page, they say, no, we don't have an annual fee. Screenshot that for you. And then as far as the fees go, Ally's really touting the fact that they have so little fees. Well, by and large, the Robinhood fees are about the same. Robinhood also has no foreign transaction fee. They have no over-the-limit fee. Their late payment fee looks to be the same as the Ally Bank one. The return payment fee is worse, and of course, the replacement card fee is way worse. $40 for a replacement card, that's kind of ridiculous, but I guess whenever they've got to give a few of us gold ones, then, they got to pay for those somehow. But by and large, the nitty-gritty of the two cards on this stupid paper are basically the same. But it's time for me to get rid of this and recycle it because I'm not signing up for the Ally Bank card. I've already signed up for the Robinhood card. This stuff goes in the trash. I don't think it's the worst card for you, especially if you would count on something like a balance transfer. I realize that's a gamble, but if you need it, you need it. So I'm not saying that you need to throw this stuff in the trash. I'm just saying for me, I've got to keep my life simplified as much as possible. So if I can maximize credit card rewards, get the most possible rewards with the Robinhood card, then I'm going to do that. So if you're curious the kind of card that I've been using lately because the Robinhood card hadn't come out yet, and obviously I didn't pick this Ally card, I chose a Capital One Venture Rewards card. The reason for that was that I've got this goal to travel more in the next few years, specifically go on some kind of fun trips with my wife. And this summer, I'm going on a trip alone because I'm going to go drive at the Nürburgring and at Spa. If you want to follow along there, you can follow me on my car channel that's called Brendan Drives. But the Venture Rewards card is really interesting because it does break my rule of typically not having any annual fee. And for this one, I've kind of bent the rules because of this giant bonus you get whenever you first sign up. 75,000 bonus miles whenever you first sign up. So that should more than cover for the annual fee. Plus, you get unlimited 2 miles per dollar on every purchase. So this way, if we're using this just as our kind of everyday card, throw everything on there and not worry about it, then I'm accruing enough miles to hopefully cover my plane ticket to Germany and back, and it'll just end up being basically free for us. Free. Spending our rewards when it comes to credit cards or whatever else is kind of a mental game because, yeah, it's technically free because it's not like money we're getting from our job, but it's also an opportunity cost thing because either way, if you're going to get this valuable lump of points, you've got to spend the money somewhere. So I could redeem them for groceries that we need to live our life and not go on this trip at all, but I'm going to choose to go on this trip and hopefully get these plane tickets for free once we get enough rewards. So I'll quickly go over the features of this card, talk about how it compares to the Robinhood card, and then show you my actual account balance so you can see the kind of points that I've got. So this Capital One Venture card also has a feature that the Robinhood card doesn't have that I think they should add this too, which is a lump of points whenever you first sign up and spend a certain amount. For this particular card, I got 75,000 bonus miles whenever we spent $4,000 on our first purchases within the first 3 months. For us, this was a doable thing, even though that is a lot of money, because by the time we put all of our expenses on it, we bought all of our Christmas gifts on it, then we were able to meet that spending threshold and get these bonus miles. So we got that. Plus, this card is specifically built for travel, so I get up to $100 credit for a global entry or TSA pre-check, which is pretty cool. Plus, if I book hotels and rental cars through their app, then I get 5 times the points, which is similar, if not exactly the same, to the Robinhood card. And then I also get to do 2 complimentary lounge visits per year. I'm hoping that one of the airports I go through has one of these lounges, but I haven't actually checked yet. Let's see. So it looks like the Charlotte airport does have one of these lounges, but I don't have the right card for it. So you'd have to have a Venture X or a Venture X business card or a Priority Pass membership to do it, and I don't have a snazzy enough card to access the lounge. Dang. Haha, but London Heathrow does have some options for me. We've got several options. At Terminal 2, I can use this one because it's just for Venture cards. Plaza Premium Lounge. Then neither of the lounges at Terminal 3 are good for me because I'm too much of a peasant, but I've got 2 different options at Terminal 4. The Blush Lounge and the Plaza Premium Lounge. And then I also have an option at Terminal 5. So I'll have to go and see if I can find one of these lounges and actually leverage the benefits of this card. And I didn't even realize I had this benefit from Capital One, but apparently we do, that you can get virtual card numbers from it. It looks like they go through some third-party service called Eno, which I'm not familiar with. But one of the cool things about the Robinhood app and card is that they're going to give you virtual card numbers that you can just generate. And I've used that before with the X1 credit card. And of course, Robinhood acquired X1, and so they just bought that technology. So it's ready built. Just use it. But apparently I can do that with this one too. It's really cool. A virtual card, you can like generate a digital card, if you will, that you just use one time, or you can use like as a free trial card, and you can make sure you never get charged for anything, because once the card is used once or however many times you prescribe, it can just like self-destruct. And so it's really handy so you don't end up with like some accidental subscriptions and stuff like that. And of course, like any of these big companies' credit cards, there's a bunch of other rewards that are apparently optional that I can use, but I don't see myself using any of them, so I'm not going to mention any more to you. So for me right now, the Capital One card, I think if anything makes as much, if not more sense than the Robinhood card because of that initial sign-up bonus, the only caveat being that $95 annual fee. So if I keep this card for 10 years and pay $1,000 in fees, it's obviously not going to be worth it. But I only really planned on using it for the next year or so, get the bonus miles out of it, use them on this specific trip that I have in mind, and then I'll probably cancel the card. I'm going to be a little bit like Dave Ramsey here and claim that I doubt anybody gets rich or financially independent off of the way they use credit cards. Credit cards are far from the most powerful tool we have at our disposal, but it's interesting because it's something that we've got to use every day. And it's kind of fun to try and play this maximization game and get the most points and figure out what we need for the stage in life that we're in. And kind of for me, like, let's go in this travel direction right now because that's the mode we're in. And then at some other time, we'll go in a different direction. So depending on where you're at in life, you might want to watch this video next, which is all the details about the Robinhood credit card. Or if you want to see my favorite credit card of all time that we continue to use year after year, it's this video next, because this card gives us the most kind of consistent, usable points that actually end up saving us money. It's not kind of a shtick where, oh, I need to do this specific thing to try and get these points. No, this is actually saving us money. Today, the secret comment word is Apple, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.